Yo, Iron Cameraman in the house. You know what's got me in such a good mood today? I bet it's not hard to guess. We finally got some news about Part 2 of Episode 79. Boom responded to a fan again and dropped some fresh details. As we already know, he was busy with a move, but that's now behind him. He's working on the episode full throttle. Still, things aren't going as smoothly as he'd like. The issue is motivation. Boom seems to be going through burnout from constantly working hard on the series. He really doesn't want to disappoint the fans. So with every episode, we've seen better animation, upgraded effects, and more new people joining the team. But handling so much mostly by himself is becoming more and more difficult. There were some hopes for episode 78. We even saw test versions from a few animators. But in the end, the final result didn't meet Boom's expectations, and he had to do almost all the animation again by himself. The problem is, with all the constant rework and crazy high standards, new episodes will keep getting delayed unless he manages to build a full team to help take on some of the load. It's also interesting that he used to avoid sharing spoilers, because he was afraid they might actually spoil key events. That kind of hints that Part 2 of Episode 79 won't just live up to expectations. It might actually exceed them, especially since Boom already replied to Stake, saying fans' current ideas about the plot for Part 2 aren't exactly correct. Now, in terms of progress, the animation for Part 2 is almost finished, but there's still a good amount of work left on the effects. Boom also mentioned some battle scene he's been working on for quite a while. That probably means we'll see the return of G-Toilet or Titan Speaker Man 3.0, ready to fight back against the Watchmen of Doom. And since we've already gotten spoilers and progress is close to wrapping up, the release will most likely drop on the weekend of August 2nd to 3rd or maybe 9th to 10th. And finally, let's talk about the spoilers. In the first 2 frames, we see the Cameraman base heavily damaged. The orange glow in the smoke comes from 2 spotlights near the entrance. They already showed up in Part 1. Most likely the orange is from fire below, and that smoke isn't from a TV Men teleport at all. It's probably from an explosion or some kind of attack that caused all the destruction. There's another clue that backs this up, that the smoke is from damage, not teleportation. Just a reminder. All skibidi toilet animations are made in SFM, not by some huge movie studio with $1 million budget. That means animating destruction or damage is extremely difficult and time-consuming. That's why animators, including Boom himself, often use smoke to secretly hide model swaps or removals, creating the illusion of destruction. Sure, some buildings might have built-in scripts with pre-animated destruction, which looks great, but in the case of the Cameraman base, it looks like there wasn't any of that. In the second frame, we can spot an arm, most likely the arm of the Watchmen of Doom. As we remember, at the end of Part 1, he was headed straight for the Cameraman base and attacked it. Even though his wrist blaster was damaged, the visible energy particles confirm it's still functional. That's probably what hit the base. There's also something interesting on the ground, small blue-lit panels. Since the energy shield in previous episodes was always around the base perimeter, these panels probably serve a different purpose. In theory, they could be part of a device that changes the polarity of the parasite energy inside the Watchmen of Doom, switching it from orange to blue. That might actually be the way to bring him back to the Alliance. Before we look at another spoiler, I just want to share a really cool observation about the story of Episode 79. When Doom used his red screen attack on the Cameraman, the G-Team showed up to distract or slow him down. That moment felt just like what happened in Episode 67, when Titan Cameraman was about to have his head chopped off. Titan Speakerman rushed in to save him, and after that, Titan TV Man returned. So it's totally reasonable to expect something similar in Part 2. Like a failed attempt by someone to stop him, followed by the real savior showing up. Big shout out to the commenter who pointed that out. Awesome catch. While I was reading your comments, I remembered our little Imagine segment, where we come up with different scenarios that would look really cool if they actually happened in the series. Here's the first Imagine. Let's say I'm right, and the Juggernaut ends up saving G-Toilet. It would be awesome if after that he said, "You know me, I'm not leaving my old friends behind," as a direct reference to G's own quote from Episode 77. I think that would hit hard emotionally. Definitely a scene worth seeing. The next interesting comment was about the Duke. One fan suggested that the Duke is actually G-Man himself, which would mean he's the Duchess's ex-husband. Sounds like a crazy and pretty awesome plot twist, right? The fan base has long believed the Duchess might be his daughter, but this theory also totally makes sense. We don't even know how old the Duchess is. But have you noticed how often Boom calls her mom? As proof, check the file name of the poster from episode 77, so at the very least, she's clearly not young. Anyway, I think I need to take a little break from all these family theories. At this rate, I'll be throwing in musical numbers and slow-motion dance scenes between episodes like it's a Bollywood movie. Actually, wait, one last theory. And finally, here's today's last imagine. One subscriber suggested that since the Titan TV man can talk, maybe at some point he'll actually ask them to kill him. Yeah, it sounds really sad. But in terms of story and drama, that would be a powerful move. That way, he'd show that even if he doesn't always think things through before acting, he's still willing to sacrifice himself for the Alliance. Now, let's break down the final spoiler. What we're seeing here are the results of the Astro attack, a damaged, emptied-out room with the Plunger Man statue inside. Even though the place is dark, the statue is really well lit. You might think the ceiling got blown open above it, letting the light shine in. But if that were the case, debris would have landed right on the statue, and clearly, that didn't happen. Plus, the scene takes place at night, so natural light couldn't possibly shine in that brightly. That means the statue is lit up by artificial lights that somehow weren't destroyed in the attack. The way it's framed suggests the statue, or maybe even Plunger Man himself, might still play an important role in the story. Or maybe Boom just wanted to share a beautiful symbolic shot. But let's not forget, Boom directly told Stake that Plunger Man would return. His current body is protected by the secret agent's green energy, so if he does come back, it might be as a new agent with the same look, maybe even a semi-Titan. As for the room being completely emptied, that lines up with what the characters said in Part 1. They needed time to evacuate. That means neither the cameramen, nor the skibidi toilets, nor even the TV men had anything strong enough to hold Astro off or defend the base. So even if Titan Speakerman 3.0 is ready, his upgrade must be happening in total secrecy. And that makes sense. It was the same deal with Titan TV Man 2.0. They kept it a secret right up to the end, all to maximize the surprise and strike back when no one expects it. Most likely, the cameramen won't return to their original base. The mothership will probably destroy it, just like it did with the TV men's base. So where were they teleported to? Since the evacuation was handled by the TV men, maybe they were sent to the TV men's base, but not necessarily the second one. It could be a third base, or even the Speakerman's base, which we might be seeing for the first time. By the way, Ibio said this still isn't everything we need to know. He promised to share more missing details in Part 2 of his video. But at the time I'm writing this script, nothing new has been revealed yet. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my breakdown of the next wave of news about Part 2 of Episode 79. See you soon.